we're here at the Compost 2024 exhibition hall. We're almost closing. And the Compost Conference is really the place to be once a year. The Youth Composting Council is putting this on for all the members, and it's this place is just really buzzing with opportunity. If you're doing anything that is related to composting, then you're going to meet so many interesting people here. It's really fascinating. You just bump into people that, community composters, all the big equipment manufacturers are out here. It's going to be a demo day on Friday. It's really the biggest equipment demonstration anywhere, I would probably say, in the United States. Any sort of serious equipment manufacturer is going to be here and demoing their equipment at a local landfill that's close by, and they have a huge lineup. I saw it last year in California, and it was pretty impressive. So we're just kind of getting some impressions here. It's almost 5:00, so that means Wednesday is almost over. And in parallel to the whole trade show that's going on here in the exhibition hall, we have all the conference things going on in the conference rooms. That's what a lot of people actually come here for. Is there are different tracks. We have a research track where there are soil scientists and compost researchers that share their latest insights on any sorts of things about soil health, about contamination, about really so many fascinating things. If you're working in the composting industry, if you are involved with that, then the Compost Conference is really the place to be. What else is in there in the workshops, in the conference? We as the state chapters come together. We have a state chapter track. So the U.S. Composting Council has is our national trade association, and then we have maybe 16 or 17 state chapters now, because there's more and more in foundation. I think the latest one to join us is Georgia state chapter. I myself, I'm a member of the Ohio Organics Council, and at the state chapter track, we're talking policy, and it's really important for people to come together, right? I mean, we are living in this kind of digital world where you can, get information at your fingertip, but being in a physical place, in a space where people come together, it's just it's kind of different. And it's essentially just 4 or 5 days that are packed and loaded with just look at this. People are just mingling and introducing you to someone. It's really once you talk to one person and you learn what they do, they'll guide you to someone else. It's, you got to talk to this person. What is it that you're doing? And if you share your background, your story, and your kind of your angle, then there's always going to be another perspective that you're getting, because people are really open here for dialogue. We as a composting industry, we rely on collaboration and then coming together, and this is kind of the place to do that. So I actually want to walk over here and show something that I saw yesterday. I think that's really interesting. It's a system from New Zealand, and that's something that's kind of dear to my heart, because I kind of started out as a kind of a backyard composter myself, and I've been doing a lot of small scale composting. And let me actually think it's right this way. So this system looks really interesting for any kind of educational setup, in a community garden, in schools, in maybe in a library, anywhere where it's right over here, where the small scale composting is kind of a gateway into learning more about it, but also making an actual impact. So it's the Dunkster. I think this is really a great system because it's kind of modular. you have these kind of rails, if I might want to call these. And here, let me just like, can I move this? Well, like I want to like show this. Here's like a top, and it's like really like modular. So you take this off, and then it has like these individual boards. So it's like really easy to assemble, but it's like super quality, long-lasting kind of system. The thing is it's not permanent. So in a lot of scenarios, we need to have something where you're in a situation where it's not quite sure how long that project might last, or you're just kind of like getting into it. And I'm building any sort of like permanent infrastructure in, let's say, a parking lot or some like green space next to a school or somewhere else is kind of tricky to actually do. But with this one, you just kind of level it out. It packs flat, and then there's like a smaller one right over there. So they have like kind of like this system, and then you can put them together, I guess. There's like some, it's like a clip. So there's like actually two modules right next to each other. And I think the modular approach is really good. I think this is definitely one of the things that stood out to me here. Another thing that stood out to me is over there, but I think they're actually, I don't know, let's see if they're still there. It's Genome Insights. So maybe we'll see if we can catch them. Because I know that they've been like busy doing some of these presentations at the research track. Yeah, I think the booth is empty here, but I'll just show you it's right here. So this was interesting to me because this is about using handheld DNA sequencers to check the microbial life or the microbiome. So we can kind of scan the compost and see what's in it down to the DNA level. And this is kind of cutting edge research right now. We're like barely scratching the surface of what's actually or like what we understand or what we've discovered. I think they said about only 5% of this like microbial DNA has actually been scanned. So we're touching the surface. However, the way the DNA kind of works and how it's being put together, the way they said it is that even though we might not have seen a specific organism before, we can link it back to higher groups and then kind of like make sense of what it actually means. And I think this is really the future for composting to also look at this level and to integrate it then with farming and growing, because it's like we are lacking like certain research and data. We kind of intuitively know that the microbial life has been around for, bacteria have been around for 3.6 billion years. And then for like 3 billion years, there wasn't really anything else. And then 600 million years ago is when, other things started to develop. So the microbes really came first. And so obviously plants and animals have all been evolving with microbes in their presence. So, a lot of like farming and growing is kind of shifted in the last 70 years to using synthetics and human intervention and kind of like using our like human science to try to feed and grow plants. And I think intuitively it makes sense that microbes always have been the driver of plant fertility and, feeding our plants. There's no question about it. If we look at a 600-year-old redwood tree, then nobody really came to fertilize it, like in terms of like a human that took care of that tree. It was really the community of microbes down below, and then other animals kind of like walking around above that soil. But I feel like we don't necessarily need research to understand that this makes sense. But then when it comes down to food production and agriculture, we've come to a point where science and evidence is really requested and necessary. And if we can provide that data and that evidence with microbial evidence, that we're getting from sequencing DNA, and linking it to desirable outcomes above the ground in terms of plant growth or vigor, a certain, there's like some microbes that are known to be nitrogen fixing, for example. So if we can, instead of doing a chemical analysis of the soil that just kind of like tries to see what's there in terms of nitrogen, if we can kind of quantify and see how microbes shift over time that make nitrogen available, then we would be in a position to drastically cut back those synthetic nitrogen inputs. And it's the same for phosphorus and other things that we're now applying, and that are also like, those have to be manufacturers, those have to be shipped around the globe. If we're talking about global or even just regional supply chains, it's really tough to procure some of these things, and also they're expensive. I mean, I said they have to be manufactured, they have to be shipped, so there's a cost associated with this. And obviously, as a farmer, you're in a tough spot. You have a big investment that you're like doing with each time you put out the seed, and the time that you put in and all the work that you need. You need a certain harvest to make that work, or otherwise you won't be farming in the next season. So if we can get more data out of looking what's in our microbial life, then we'll be able to shift away from trying to add things that we need on a chemical level, and actually use the microbiology to make these things chemically available in the soil, but more as a product of the nutrient cycling and all the metabolites that happen when the microbes actually are free to do their work, or if we then encourage certain microbes to do the work for us and help us with farming. And while I'm like kind of like going over this topic, I think it's also important to say that we need to have open source collaboration on that, open source databases, and that we are not getting into what we've been doing, like trying to genetically modify certain microbes, where it then just comes down to almost like monocropping microbes in a way, because we want to like patent these and sell them, because I guess even though we still need a lot of research to get to a conclusion, really what we do know is that the diversity is where it's at. So while we're getting into this, it would be really desirable to not like get back into the tunnel vision and into the kind of like just the singular focus on one type of microbe that we can then like modify and therefore then patent, and then like put all our energy into that one sort of like engineered microbe. I think the power is really behind getting the diversity and getting the using what's already there. There's so many different microbes out there that it's like just like trying to then engineer that's like, again, that like kind of weird human thinking that we would then know better like how to make it. I feel like we really need to observe what's there, and that is what these DNA sequencers will enable us to do. So I think there's a lot of exciting things here. That's kind of just my little wrap up here with the Compost2024 exhibition and conference. I hope you like that walkthrough, and yeah, well, I guess that's kind of it. So thanks for watching and listening, and yeah, reach out to me if you want to connect over soil microbes or composting. Yeah, reach out. I'm Tim with the Compost Marketing Agency. Bye.